Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Wednesday, April 9th. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about customers and who you want for a customer. And if you're saying, well, I want all my customers or I want all of them, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekday. Today is Wednesday, April 9th of 2025. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about who you want for a customer, right? And even when you've been in business as long as I have, and things are a little slow yet, still crickets. I mean, stuff has been picking up, and we're getting stuff in the yard to work on, which is I'm very grateful for. You always want more, right? And when you're not being onslaughted with customers and you're looking at bills on a regular monthly basis, you still have the light bill, you still have the heat bill because winter has yet to let up in our area. Insurances, business taxes, business insurance, they're all there with their hands out. And you're trying to figure out how to get them paid. And this leads to kind of like that rabbit going down the hole idea, right? And even it's happened to me recently because things have been pretty slow this winter. And we're normally the last couple of years actually have been slow, but we normally work full time year round. But these last couple of years we've had to go to half days because the work isn't there. And Claude's old enough to be retired anyways, but so what am I talking about? I'm talking about taking those customers that you normally wouldn't take. And one customer stands out that Claude and I had a disagreement over was one that I believe was 2 years ago that we had done some work on his older tractor and he threw a fit over the bill, a big enough fit so that I just chalked it up to, you know, it's on me to try to solve issues. Well, Claude vowed at that day and time that he would never work on this guy's equipment again. And he never showed up last year. But while Claude was up feeding the cows yesterday because I had cardiac rehab, the guy shows back up. And I'm looking at our calendar and it's not full. And he apologizes for the last that we had, let me know that his mother passed away and there were circumstances that just had him on edge or whatever. So I told him, don't worry about it. Because that's what I tell everybody. You're allowed to have fleeting moments of not being yourself, right? So I said, what's really going on with you today? So he told me that he had an Alzheimer's 140 that ran great all last year. He started it up this spring, drove it around, and within about 2 minutes it quit. And it had fuel running out of the carburetor. Now, the Alzheimer's 140 is one of the old, probably 1940s, 1950s, probably around a 20 to 25 horse tractor. And that's our specialty. Claude loves working on them because you're back to the points and the distributor. And so I told the guy, I said, He said, how's your schedule look, Eric? I said, I can pick it up Friday. So he said, that's great. So as he's walking out, Claude is walking in. And Claude is shaking his head at me. I know the shit's going to hit the fan. He said, you didn't tell him we're working on his stuff, are you? Did you? And I said, actually, yeah, we're going to pick it up Friday. Out to the shop he went, stewed for a while, and then come back in and said, we need to clear the air right now on what we're working on and who we're working on stuff for. If it's financially, then shut the place down. And I understood where he was coming from, but he missed out on the conversation of the guy apologizing. But even when I explained that to Claude, he said that's not a good enough reason. I said, well, we all have our weekend moments of saying and doing things that we wish we wouldn't have done. He said, no, I think the guy just run out of places that people are willing to work on his stuff, and now he's back again. Could be. But this brings me back to, as much as you need customers and as much as you need money to run a business, is it always good to take back customers in the past that have caused grief? And this is a 50-50 shot, I'm going to tell you right now. So if you're young and you're just starting in, you're taking on any customer. I did. And we got burnt a few times. And when we got burnt, we just didn't work on that person's machine in the future. But this also happens to us that have been running shop for years. We have to, on a daily basis, assess, our income, our expenses, and make decisions. And I can hear you right now, Amos. You're like Claude. No way, no how. You come in and you disrespect me in my place of business, never again. I understand that. But I've had it in the past where I've had a customer do that and then end up becoming one of my best customers in the end. After I told him the following year we wouldn't work on it, I eased up the year after that and took him back on. But when I took him back on, I explained the ground rules. And this is what I did yesterday, is I explained the ground rules. It is what it is. I try to take care of my customers. I'm not going to tolerate throwing tantrums or whatever you have going on. I know, I'm sorry, I hear about your mom passing away 2 years ago, but if we work on it, I don't want to see any of it. And the bill is going to be what the bill is. I don't pad bills. I don't add on to bills. And I'm not going to reduce your bill if you have a fit. That's where it stands. So yeah, you guys that are just starting in, is it an issue once you get, what's the right word? That you've been in business for years? Is it still a problem? Is it still something that you have to give thought to? Absolutely. On a daily basis of who you decide to take and give a second chance to and who has burnt you enough not to even give them that chance. And Claude brought up, he said, what are you going to do next? You're going to take that gal that she stuck you for $500 last year and 200 and some the year before? No, I'm not. And I'm also not taking that customer that is 68 miles away from us that wants us to come there to work on their stuff so that they can watch us do it. No, I don't have the tools. I don't have the... But that was somehow different with Claude. But it's not different. I have to pick and choose on a daily basis what work to take and what work not to take. And I have to balance it out of how much headache do I have. If I take on somebody that's close, I'm not out fuel. I'm not out travel time. They're right close. This guy is within 6 miles of me. At the worst case, I'll be out the labor. With the guy and gone 68 miles away, I'm out the travel time, clock's still on the clock. The fuel, wear and tear on the vehicle. And then if the guy throws a fit, what then? But he's the same guy that we were talking about a while back that said that he was taking the last guy to small claims court that worked on it. I could just see the headlines now. Yes, on a daily basis, even years out, on a daily basis, trying to decide, which ones to take and which ones to not. If you're so busy, this isn't an option. It's an easy one. If we were busy, I would tell the guy no. That's an easy one. But we haven't started up yet. We got another 3 inches of snow last night after enjoying 70-degree weather last week. And you can tell, I can't. I'm getting sick here. And then I want to touch base quick with you, Mark, with having a loyalty rewards program. Absolutely a great idea. And how to get your customer to come back every year. We have customers that come back every year just like clockwork. And you could take everybody's name and number down, which we do have, and call each customer every spring and remind them about getting their unit in there. But you shouldn't have to remind them. They know that they normally get a service in the spring. But we saw last spring quite a few of them drop off, and I'm hoping that they did their own versus just running it for another year with the same oil and everything. But they may not have, and they'll be back this spring. But what you got to look a little deeper on too, is a lot of more wealthier people in well-to-do areas who've seen their 401s come crashing in, and they might pull back for a little while until the stock market stabilizes, and it will. I have no doubt. It will. If you got money to invest, now's the time to invest. If you're a stock market watcher, stop watching and don't sell. Whatever you do, do not sell if your stock has gone downhill. I tell this to people every year, and they say, well, what if you're retired and you depend on that stock? And, well, you should also have a nest egg set aside in your Social Security. So just bear with it and let it come back on its own. It will be back, and it will be doing stellar. So having a rewards program is definitely a plus. Giving your good customers a certain percentage off or a discount is even better if you can afford to do it. So most of the people that normally watch these videos drop off by now. So I wanted to kind of shoot at you, Amos. I'm asking because I'm 5 months out, and I started having sharp pains in that area on the left breast. I still can't feel it, and it's still tender to the touch, but it's hard to explain. You would understand. It's numb, but it has tenderness. But here just about 8 minutes ago, that's what reminded me, was I get those sharp jabs, and they come 6 to 8 times at a time, but it doesn't seem to matter whether I'm at rest or I'm exerting myself, like yesterday at cardiac rehab. So it's kind of got me puzzled. Do I chalk it up to it's still part of the healing process? Because I brought it up to them yesterday, and they said that looking at the EKG, that it would only show damage, and the lines were good. So, and they told me to bring it to their attention if it started happening when I was exercising. The only odd thing out was when they took my blood pressure at rest before I started, it was 121 over 81 or something like that, which is good. And then after 15 minutes on the treadmill, I do a 20-minute fast-paced walk. It was 108 over 68. And then shortly after, I had the chest pains on the row bike machine, whatever you want to call it. My blood pressure had gone up to 148 over 89. All three of those are not worrisome. But to go from a stellar one, drop in blood pressure, by 20 points, and then skyrocket up 40, that's 60 points that it traveled from 108 to 148. No, it's 40 that it traveled. I don't know. Well, put in the comments what you think. I know I went off track there for a minute. With you, Amos, normally I don't do this. But it's been concerning. But put in the comments how you guys feel about taking on the iffy customer again. If things are slow in your shop, is it yay or nay? Is it no matter what, we're not doing it? But this guy, we're not working on his at his house again. We're picking it up. And it's going to be here at the shop. And he's not getting his tractor back until it's paid for. That might make a difference. So on that note, you guys have a great Wednesday. And we'll see you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Keep bringing the topics, Mark. Customer rewards, absolutely. It's a great idea.